to explore is human. Humans have always ventured beyond the horizon, into the unknown. And the sea, with its vastness and all its perils, was once the final frontier. Exploration is a drive to survive, a necessary curiosity, an addiction that has consumed the human species since the dawn of time. With exploration comes migration and colonization. But the urge to explore has forever consumed mankind. Sometimes for glory, sometimes for greed. The Malayo-Polynesians, a maritime people, conquered the seas long before Tzeng He, Magellan, or Cook. They sailed the vastness of the Pacific Ocean and became one with the sea. This is their journey, the journey of the greatest ancient seafarers, the Malayo-Polynesians. The Malayo-Polynesians are defined by their spoken language, Malayo-Austronesian. They stretch between Madagascar, off the African eastern coast, to as far as Easter Island in the southeast of the Pacific Ocean. Most of them, however, can be found in Southeast Asia, especially in the Malay Archipelago, which includes the Malay Peninsula, Sumatra, Borneo, Java, Sulawesi, Papua New Guinea, and the Philippines. They also populate the Pacific, in the Melanesian Islands, the Micronesian Islands, and the Polynesian Islands.
It's important to realize that when people first arrived in Southeast Asia, it was a very different Southeast Asia from the one we see today. In fact, it's referred to by geologists and historians now as Sunderland, because there was a huge continent which included the whole of the Indochina, the Malay Peninsula, and Sumatra, Java, Borneo, the Greater Sundas, which were all joined together. And one could walk all the way down to Bali from Africa. That's why genetically the Malay Peninsula is very similar in many ways, not identical to, but very similar in many ways to Indonesia and Borneo and the Philippines.
Mau Pialu was the last remnant of the wayfinding navigators. Wayfinding is a non-instrument method of navigating deep-sea voyages, based on whatever the elements of the sea and the sky can provide to the navigator.
1976, he sails Hokulea to Tahiti, first voyage in 600 years, changes everything. You take it back into an island group that, one, are native speakers first. They have their orations, they have their genealogy, they talk about the great voyaging canoes, they talk about the great navigators, but they don't have the canoe or the navigators. So when Hokulea arrives, you find it's their canoe. And what it did for us, it re-linked us back across the Pacific as family. And that was a foundational change for the Hawaiian community and for Hawaii. Couldn't be done without Mau.
It's true that Madagascar is much closer to Africa than to Asia. But it's really surprising that there are a lot of influences Asian influences in Madagascar rather than African influences. If only from a linguistic, cultural, and perhaps even a facial traits perspective, which shows that there was a whole marine current that brought people from Malaysia and even from Polynesia up to Madagascar.
The Malayo-Polynesian ancient seafaring people may have been driven both by the desire to explore and for survival, but never by greed. And with their deep spiritual beliefs, they have braved the seas and the oceans throughout much of history. As fanciful as this may sound, countless historians, archaeologists, antiquarians and others have interpreted existing evidence and have always come to the conclusion that it was this knowledge and technology and the daringness of this seafaring race that has made human migration, particularly out of insular Southeast Asia into the Pacific, possible. The journey of the great Malayo-Polynesian ancient seafarers can never be doubted or disputed, and with their vast knowledge of navigation and their seaworthy boats, they have been able to conquer the oceans long before any other explorers. And to the ocean shall we return, to again explore the unknown and shape the world, as we are tied to the ocean, whence we have come from.